Oxford police now say 21 shots were fired Thursday during an incident at a local service station that left one man in critical condition at a Birmingham hospital.
A beautiful weekend coming up across East Alabama. Plenty of sunshine, warm temperatures, no rain in the forecast. We'll have the complete weekend forecast details coming up.
Coming up in sports, we'll get you ready for a night of high school football, and Jacksonville State getting ready for their matchup with Coastal Carolina. EAN Local News starts now.
This segment of EAN Local News is brought to you by Waldrop Manufacturing, metal buildings made right here in Calhoun County.
Good evening, and thank you for watching East Alabama Now Local News for Friday, September 8th, 2023. I'm Katie Edwards.
And I'm Mike Stedham.
A Birmingham man is in the Oxford City Jail today facing 2 attempted murder charges along with 1 count of burglary in the 2nd degree. Police say they arrested 23-year-old Justin Chapman around noon at the racetrack store just south of the intersection of Alabama 21 with Interstate 20. Officers were called to the scene of an active shooter at the station and subdued Chapman shortly after arriving on the scene. The man he shot was airlifted to UAB Hospital in Birmingham, where he is still listed in critical condition. Witnesses say Chapman and the victim, who was a pedestrian, apparently got into an argument on the side of I-20 near the Oxford Exchange. The victim went down to the gas station, followed by Chapman, who was seen driving erratically. The argument continued, and police say Chapman went back to his car and got a gun. He's accused of shooting the pedestrian, then shooting into an occupied vehicle and the store before he was apprehended. He has been placed in the Oxford City Jail and could face additional charges.
An Anniston man wanted on capital murder charges in the deaths of 2 women last week was captured in Anniston on Wednesday, according to Huntsville police. The U.S. Marshals Service Gulf Coast Regional Fugitive Task Force arrested 23-year-old Ty DeShun Stevens after a week-long search. He will be taken to the Madison County Jail and booked on the 2 capital murder warrants. Stevens is accused of killing 24-year-old Deja Monique Morris and 20-year-old Sequoia Monet Lamar on August 29th in Huntsville.
When we come back, a piece of Alexandria High School history has been transformed into a new school landmark.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings. Stop paying rent for storage. With Waldrop's price per foot, you can actually save money by buying straight from the manufacturer. Waldrop buildings are guaranteed because Waldrop manufactures buildings with U.S. steel right here in Calhoun County. Waldrop Manufacturing, serving the entire Southeast. Give them a call today. This segment of EAN Local News is brought to you by Oxford Lumber. Come visit any of our locations in Oxford, Jacksonville, Talladega, and Roanoke.
Even the sturdiest trees have a limited lifespan, and the large oak tree that has stood for years between Alexandria High School and Alexandria Middle School had come to the end of its days. Principal Jason Deason says that big limbs were falling from the tree, causing a hazard for the students, parents, and faculty who walked beneath it.
Probably maybe close to 200 years. And it had been over the last 2-3 years, you could tell that it had some obvious signs of aging, and it was starting to get on its last leg. And the central office said that we needed to cut it back a couple years ago, which was, it was a good call. It made sense, and they, instead of cutting it down, they trimmed it back, and we wanted to do that in hopes of saving it. Did our best, but it wasn't going to work out. You could tell this past year, every storm that we had this summer, those thunderstorms, we would be out here the next day picking up limbs. So the decision was made to cut it down.
While the removal of the tree was an important safety measure, the decision was a tough one for a community whose parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents had been sheltered by its branches. That's when Deason hit on a workable solution. Turn the tree's trunk into a sculpture honoring Cubby, the school's mascot.
We decided to basically bring it down to about 14 foot after I found out about this this man named Chad Gainey that did wood sculptures with chainsaws, and I reached out to him, and the central office allowed me to keep 14 foot, so the people that were hired to come in and cut it, they left us a big chunk of it. So I got in touch with him on TikTok and sent him an email, and he wrote back, and the rest was history.
Deason says that Cheney was clearly the right man for the job. It took him about a week to finish the carving, and it's already met with approval from the Alexandria community.
Hat and the A on it, you know, so he had a general idea about what our mascot looked like. And I had seen on his TikTok page that he has done some nature stuff for other people, you know, that involve bears. So he had a pretty good handle on how to do a bear. But I wanted it to make sure that we had the unique spin of what Cubby was for him in Alexandria, and he drew a picture of it and said, "This is what I'm thinking." I said, "I love it. Let's roll with it." And we couldn't be more happy than the way it turned out.
Gainey told school officials that so long as they treat it for termites every couple of years, that statue should last indefinitely. Deason hopes to put up some park benches around Cubby and set up spotlights so it can be admired at night. He hopes the area will become a central gathering spot for the entire community. When we come back, something fishy is going on in Jacksonville.
For over 60 years, Oxford Lumber has been servicing our area, and our customer service has always been our main focus. Our customer service is what sets us apart from anyone else. From the moment you enter, our highly trained staff will treat you like family.
To enthusiastically provide total customer satisfaction within a positive and self-fulfilling employee relations environment. Visit us at any of our 4 locations or at oxfordlumber.com.
This segment of EAN Local News is brought to you by WM Grocery, located in Heflin, Wadowee, Roanoke, and in Piedmont.
Registration opened today for the Jacksonville Youth Fishing Rodeo, scheduled for September 30th at the Public Safety Complex. The event is free for ages 15 and under and is being organized by the Jacksonville Police Department in cooperation with the Alabama Wildlife and Freshwater Fisheries Law Enforcement Section and with the assistance from the Jacksonville City Council. The Alabama Conservation Enforcement Officers Association will donate a lifetime fishing license to one lucky youth, and the winner will be drawn at the end of the day. You do have to be 15 years or younger to win. The goal is for each child to leave with a fishing pole for future outdoor activities. A free lunch will also be provided to everyone who participates.
I didn't know they had lifetime fishing licenses.
I didn't either. What a cool prize.
And being a young person, that kid's got a lot of fishing ahead of him.
Absolutely, he does.
And of course, fishing makes us think about good weather, and good weather makes us think about John Holder.
And John joins us now in the EAN Weather Center. John, what is the weather looking like this weekend?
Mike and Katie, a fantastic weekend coming up across East Alabama weather-wise. Plenty of sunshine, temperatures in the 80s. We'll have the complete weekend forecast coming up next.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
Well, today was a pretty typical early September day in East Alabama. Temperatures about where they should be for this time of year, right close to average. Had a cool morning this morning. We were actually 6 degrees below the average, dropping down to 60 this morning. A number of locations were in the upper 50s early this morning. You see the record high temperature 98 degrees, the record low 52. And look at those sunrise and sunset times. The sun setting now exactly at 7 o'clock tonight, right at kickoff for all the high school football games. That will also be the sunset time tonight. Weather on your street on a Friday night, going to take out to Timber Way in Weaver. The big thing you're going to notice tonight, much like last night, low dew points. The air temperature about 63 degrees, but the dew points tonight will be very, very low. So it's going to feel very pleasant and comfortable out in Weaver and all across Calhoun and Cleburne counties overnight tonight. Coming up on your Saturday, a fantastic Saturday, maybe a pop-up shower or two. The further east you go, and we'll show you a graphic about this, but the further east you go, the better chance of seeing a shower. That chance of rain, only about 20 to 30% tomorrow afternoon. Brutonville Road in Alexandria, just get ready for that perhaps at some point tomorrow afternoon. There might be a pop-up shower. Other than that, though, pretty typical summertime weather, plenty of sunshine, and the high at 87 in Alexandria. Looking ahead to next week, we're going to take you out to McClellan to Baines Gap Road. That is one of the most beautiful places in all of East Alabama. It's going to be mostly dry next week. We're going to start off with highs in the 90s, but by the end of the week, we will have temperatures back in the 80s for highs, and maybe even lower than that. As a matter of fact, we're going to show you that on our 7-day forecast. You'll see small chances for rain showers coming up on Saturday and Sunday, then a couple of dry days as we reach back into the 90s again on both Monday and Tuesday. Those will be the warmest days. Then back to some typical classic summertime weather the middle of the week next week with a little shower or thunderstorm popping up with the heating of the day. But toward the end of the period, we have a front that's going to come through. And behind that front, look at this. Low temperatures at 60 degrees, maybe some upper 50s. But the big story will be about a week from today, a first taste of fall really truly in the air. Highs only in the upper 70s. How about that? With plenty of sunshine coming up in about a week. Still a little early to guarantee that, but the idea is on the table that we could have some upper 70s for highs coming up in about a week. We mentioned tomorrow and really coming up on Sunday as well that the further east you go, the better chance of rain that you will see. We've got an onshore flow coming off the Atlantic, and that is pushing some moisture into East Alabama from the east. That typically doesn't happen, but we'll have some moisture coming in from Georgia into East Alabama. So the closer you are to the Georgia line, if you're in places like Spring Garden, the Talladega National Forest, Ranburne, places like that, better chance of seeing a shower tomorrow afternoon than maybe places like East Tavoga and Bynum and up toward the Gadsden area. So again, these rain chances tomorrow, only about 20 to 30%, and the higher rain chance will be the further east you go. Hey, tomorrow morning, check out my forecast, 6 o'clock tomorrow morning right here on EAN. I'll have your morning breakfast forecast. I'll be back here on Monday morning as well with forecast. We'll have forecast throughout the weekend and back here on Monday evening as well, as we'll have the complete in-depth forecast for all of East Alabama. Right now, it's a football Friday night. Chase Robinson talking some high school football now in sports. Chase?
Thanks, John. Tonight is week 2 of the high school football season, and our East Alabama slate of games includes a couple of top 10 matchups and some other really good games as well. So let's take a look at tonight's games. Alexandria plays host to Moody to begin region play. Also, the Anniston Bulldogs hosting the Munford Lions. You got Cleburne County on the road at Talladega. Donahoe heads to Ragland to take on the Purple Devils. Oaks Bluff plays host to Glencoe. We've got a top 10 matchup here is Jacksonville on the road. They're in Roanoke to take on the Handley Tigers tonight. You've got Southside at Lincoln, a battle of Highway 77 there. Also, Ohatchee plays host to Westbrook Christian to open up region play. Oxford heads on the road to Shades Valley to take on the Mounties. You've got Piedmont at Sylvania. That's an 8 versus 9 matchup there in Class 3A. West End is at Pleasant Valley tonight. You've got Ranburne hosting Fayetteville. Sachs on the road at Beulah. Spring Garden takes on Wadley on the road tonight. And Weaver takes on Dadeville. The Jacksonville State Gamecocks are on the road to Conway, South Carolina this weekend as they take on the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. Jack State has a tough task in Coastal Carolina quarterback Grayson McCall. McCall is 28-5 in his time at Coastal. He has completed 70.6% of his passes in 35 games for 8,068 yards and 78 touchdowns. He's also been the Sun Belt Player of the Year for 3 straight years. Rich Rod, as well as Gamecock defensive lineman Jackson Luttrell, knows the challenge of facing McCall.
He's competitive. He's smart. He'll make plays that are there, then he'll make plays that aren't there. He's probably one of the most dynamic leaders in college football, and has been. I mean, what has he been, the 3-time Player of the Year in the Sun Belt Conference? That doesn't happen very often, and he's off to another good start. So, got a lot of respect for him. Got a lot of respect for their program and what they've done in the last, I guess, 7 or 8 years to get to this point.
A heck of a quarterback. He's tough. He'll run it if he needs to. I mean, he's got great pocket presence. I mean, he can throw it around. He likes, I guess, number 15, I believe. He loves throwing it to him. He's a good receiver. We'll have to definitely key in on him. Just a good game manager. I mean, he's a real good quarterback.
Last Saturday, an hour and a half before kickoff, Rich Rod had to change starting quarterbacks as Zion Webb was dealing with sickness. Logan Smothers was given the opportunity to start and took full advantage of that opportunity. Jack State's tight end Sean Brown talks about the team finding out Zion would not be playing and the confidence they have in Smothers.
It was a shock to everybody. I mean, we saw him at the hotel the night before, and he looked a little down, but, we had full confidence he was going to be able to be out there. But when you have a guy backing him up like Logan, I mean, throughout all of fall camp, we were all confident in him. No matter what happened, we knew if he stepped in, he was going to be able to lead us, and we felt confident from the time that we knew he wasn't playing to the end of the game.
Before we let you go tonight, I want to mention the Alexandria Lady Cubs volleyball team as they sit number 3 in Class 5A in this week's AL.com volleyball rankings. Last night, Alexandria went to Sylacauga in a quad match to face the Aggies, Oxford, and Pike Road. They beat all 3 to continue unbeaten on the year as their record now sits 14-0. This is the best start for Alexandria volleyball, including that state championship season back in 2017. They've only lost 2 sets this season, 1 to Fort Payne and 1 to Oxford. And that's it for sports. Let's send it back over to Mike and Katie.
Thank you for watching East Alabama Now Local News.
You can find us here online every weekday evening on either Facebook or YouTube. Just go to our video feed and watch the news when it's convenient for you.
We hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here Monday for your news on your schedule.